Hi everyone, it's Chloe and today I'm going to be showing you a quick speed build of a cute little apartment that I decorated a couple of weeks ago. Now I've had a really long week, so I'm just looking forward today to just chilling out, talking about the build and just hanging out. So grab a drink, grab a snack. I've got my slightly see-through coffee with me today. So let's get started. Okay, so we're starting on one of the apartments in Evergreen Harbour. So this one is the Pinecrest apartments in the Conifer Station neighbourhood. I think they are the smaller apartments. The other ones in the other neighbourhood I think are a bit more roomy. Also, I think the other apartments come with a balcony, which were a little bit of a controversial topic because it turns out you couldn't even use the balconies, which kind of felt like a scam. So I like that I chose this apartment because at least we don't have any false hope here. But yeah, like I said earlier, I've just had like a really long week, so I'm just really looking forward to just chilling, talking about how I decorated this little apartment here. It's been my first couple of weeks back at work, although this week felt so much more intense because the week before, even though it was my first week back, we had a problem with a couple of pools. So for context, I am a swim teacher. We had a problem with a pool and that makes up most of my shifts, so I did get a few extra days off last week. So this week's been like the first proper full week back, going like super hardcore, and honestly I feel so shattered, it's ridiculous. But I feel like I just need to get used to it. I need to find my rhythm and then we'll be fine, I'll be okay. Hopefully it will calm down a little bit soon. So with this apartment, I did use quite a lot of custom content. I will try and link as much as I can down in the description, but honestly I used so much that I will probably lose track. I'll have to go back into the build and actually see which ones I used here. I can tell you that I definitely used a lot of the Oak House pack from Pierresim, I think is how it's pronounced. Please don't come for me in the comments if I pronounce that incorrectly, okay? But yeah, I just think their Oak House collection is the nicest thing I've like ever seen in The Sims. It's just wonderful. I love it a lot. I used it a lot. So a lot of these things do belong to that CC pack, which I will link down below. So while I record or edit these types of things, I do like to sit and listen to a podcast or watch a couple of videos on YouTube while I do it. And while I was building this, I was listening to the Frenemies podcast with Ethan Klein from H3 Production and also Trisha Paytas. And I just think it's like a genius idea to put them together on a podcast because they're so entertaining. Just the fact that they're two very different people, I think it's very entertaining and I've really been loving it. I've been listening to pretty much every single one that's come out every week since getting into it a few weeks back. So yeah, I've really been enjoying that. I definitely recommend it if you're, I will say that if you're easily offended, maybe don't, but it is definitely very entertaining and a good listen. So I'm not sure if I've talked about these paintings before in my other build videos, but these paintings are my absolute favourite. I just think they're amazing. They are taken from the Snowy Escape pack, like the images, because they're taken around Mount Komorebi and they're put into these really lovely frames, and I'm literally obsessed with them. Also, another thing I'm obsessed with is this eco lifestyle wood swatch wallpaper. This dark one that I used in particular, I gave myself a good pat on the back afterwards for using that one because I really like how that looked. I've kind of gone for a bit of a darker sort of theme with this apartment, not something I usually do. Usually I'm one to sort of gravitate towards lighter wood swatches, and even in like the way that I dress in real life, I tend to go more sort of like pastel light colours, but I'm trying to like branch out a little bit. I think my first video actually that I ever put on my YouTube channel was something similar to this. I think we used a lot of dark swatches in that one, but I just haven't done it in a long time. So, I'm putting that radio stereo thing there, but I think I actually swap it with the bookshelf, which, by the way, I'm obsessed with that bookshelf. If you can see it on the right there, it is my favourite. It's from Eco Lifestyle. I'm obsessed with it. I use it in every single build. I actually thought to myself the other day, I was like, maybe I actually need to calm down with using that bookshelf so often, because it's gonna get old. I know it is, but I mean, I'm not sick and tired of it yet, so who knows? I might just carry on using it. Maybe it won't ever get old. Maybe it's just that good of a bookshelf. So I always use these like pots and pans above the sink as well. I always just think it just adds something a bit more interesting to the kitchen. Of course, we've got our console table near the entryway. We always need a console table. I don't make the rules, that's just how it is. Now, something else that's very cool that I want to show you is what I'm about to put on the table here. Bob pancakes on a GQ style magazine. I mean, have you ever seen something like that? No, I hadn't until I downloaded that CC, and I'm obsessed with it. I am a very big Bob Pancakes fan. I stan him. This is a Bob Pancakes stan account. I'm just saying that right now. But anyway, back to the build. I don't hate decorating bathrooms, but I will say I feel a little bit less inspired when decorating them. I don't know what it is. I just tend to find them very boring. Of course, you can get creative with bathrooms for sure, but just I never really feel as inspired coming to build the bathrooms as much as I do like a kitchen or a living room or a bedroom. I don't know, but I feel like I did okay with this bathroom. I did really like the wallpaper that I did, and tile, not wallpaper, but you'll see that in a second. It's really nice. I was again trying to go for the dark theme, so I thought about a black tile, maybe a concrete. I sort of experimented with that a little bit as well, but I think in the end I go for this really nice dark green paint with the black tile underneath, which I thought was so nice. I was a big fan of that. And actually I carry on the green theme into the bedroom a little bit. So my mum is an interior designer, and through the years she's given me a few tips, and one tip that's always stuck with me when decorating is to make a house or an apartment or any space really work collectively. You want to carry on colours into different rooms. So for the bedroom, I added bits of green in places like the curtains and the rug, so it was an accent rather than like the main focus. And it doesn't really seem like the hardest thing in the world to do, especially in The Sims. I mean, it can be a little bit harder in real life, but honestly, it will like absolutely transform your space, and it will make everything work collectively, and it will just make your builds look so much nicer. And honestly, shout out to Mum, shout out to Claire, like thank you, that stuck with me, and I'll use that like when I move out and do my own apartment. But speaking of moving out and doing my own apartment, like I cannot tell you how much inspiration I get from The Sims. Like when I move out and I have the ability to do what I want with my own space, it's over for you bitches. Like but you know what, I say that, but I think in reality it will probably be a lot of IKEA furniture, because I mean, really, who has the money to spend on nice furnishings and decorations when you buy a new house? Like realistically, unless you're very, very lucky. But I like to think that I'd make my space look nice, you know? I think I can do that. I think I can. But like I was saying earlier, like I've added the green in the curtains, green with the rug. We've got some brown in there as well with the wood swatches, so it kind of emulates the same vibe as the living room was as well. So it all kind of works nicely and collectively. I'm also a really big fan of this wood feature wall that I did behind the bed. My only problem with that though is the fact that there's a window there. I feel like it wasn't the smartest place to put a feature wall, but I think I did actually try and move everything around in the bedroom so that the bed was on the wall where the picture is on the left there, so we'd have like a nice big wall to do a feature on. But not everything fit very well when I swapped it round, so I ended up going back, putting the bed under the window. It just made sense, but it's fine. I think it still looks okay. I'm not mad about it, you know? Oh, also light switches. The Oak House comes with light switches, and like I cannot tell you how happy I was about this, because this is what I feel like The Sims 4 is missing in Build and Buy, is little realistic touches like that, things like light switches. I also add in some radiators that you'll see a little bit later on. Like, I know we have the thermostat from Seasons that controls like how hot or how cold your house is, but I just like the idea of having a radiator in my home. Like, that's what I've experienced growing up in most houses that I've lived in. Actually, not even most, all of them have all had radiators. And it just makes it feel a little bit more realistic to me. So I just enjoy that. Okay, so here we go. I'm putting the radiators down. So I was thinking about this little short one, but I think I prefer the longer ones more. They just feel a bit more familiar to me. Those are the kind of style I've always had in my houses. In fact, normally they'd go under a window in my experience, but I couldn't quite make it fit under the window in the bedroom, and then I'd have to like move everything around and it would just be a bit of a nightmare, so I ended up deciding against that eventually. We're gonna start doing a little bit of like doing the finer details now, putting some decorations up. I love these wicker plates. I think they're gorgeous. Again, they're from Oak House, and honestly, like, they're stunning. I love them so much. I wish I had them in real life. And yeah, just putting little details like the little handbag on the shelf. We didn't have room for an office, so I did put a laptop in the kitchen instead, like at the bar stool, at the table, at the island rather. And that is pretty much it for today. So we're just putting in some lights to finish with, but I actually really enjoyed this and I was really proud of the end result. I will put a couple of screenshots up at the end as well, so you can have a look at those. So yes, that is it. Okay everyone, that's all I have for you today. I hope you all have a lovely week, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye!